I just accepted. Voila.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes. Yes. I'm very happy to see you are
Okay.
alive and well.
Yes, yes, yes. Despite, at last, we made it happen. How are you?
Irrelevant. Um, I don't know what to say. What can we provide in regards to our menial ability to not change the realities of what's happening? Is there anything we can
Thank
do to
you.
at least
Definitely, definitely, definitely.
lift
Thank you for
spirits?
having me, Amanda. Just a quick introduction from my side. I'm a Canadian Palestinian. I'm originally from Jerusalem, married with 5 kids. I've been in Gaza for the last 2 years. And for the last 8 weeks, I've been voluntarily trying to report the news here, trying to reach out to different outlets in order to get the truth about what's happening here in Gaza. In addition to that, now 80% of my time is trying to help the people here through different charitable manners. There are over 1.7 million displaced people here, and they need a lot of help. I've appeared on CNN, BBC, Fox News, Russian TV, CBC, Australian News, South African, Italian, Spanish. I've done over 72 live interviews. However, I only got introduced to Instagram and TikTok and other social media platforms around 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And and guys, you have changed the game. You have changed the game. The new generation. I'm 39 years old. I'm an old person.
I'm
And
older.
I thought okay, no comment. Sorry about that. Or maybe that's something good that I said that. Um, I just had a personal Facebook page. I was very active on LinkedIn, given my engineering and the business background. I was doing big four company consulting work, doing a lot of supply chain management, project management, etc. I never thought that I'll be doing what I'm doing right now. But here we are. And yes, to answer your question, there are five things that you can do right now to support the people here in Gaza. Number one, we want your actions, we want your actions to be coming out of facts, coming out of things that are credible, not just emotions, not just what you see on television, not just what you see on media. So it's very important to educate ourselves about three subtopics. Number one, what is Zionism? Because once you understand what Zionism is, you will understand what their goals are, what they're trying to achieve, why are they doing what they're doing, even though it doesn't make sense, right? Um, but once you know what Zionism is, then it's gonna open for you the door into understanding a
Yep.
little bit more about the situation here. Number two, if this all didn't start on October the 7th,
No.
you are talking about decades and decades of systematic oppression, and you I invite you to learn more about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Uh, Number three, learn more about Islam. Because if you learn more about Islam, you'll understand how the Palestinians, who are 99% Muslim, believe, think, why do they act the way they act, how come they are steadfast despite everything that's happening to them. A lot of questions might be answered about, okay, understanding more of how come these people are so resilient even after 63 days of siege, famine, pandemics, cutting off electricity, water supply, etc. How are they, like, they're suffering so much loss in terms of material, but they're still remaining steadfast. So understanding Islam will help you understand answer a lot of questions that you may have. So that's number one, educate and learn. Number two, social media. Continue to create content, continue to like, share, comment. I don't care if people make fun of you as a keyboard warrior or as, what's the impact that you're doing? No, you have changed the game. This would have never happened in 2020 or 2021.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, even though there were wars before, but
Yes.
because of, sorry, Amanda, at any time feel free to cut me off.
No,
I'm just.
I remember in 2021 when they attacked Al-Aqsa Mosque, and there was people starting to speak more, but it got quiet very quick because a lot of people were speaking from emotion, but like you said, didn't have the information to fire back when people attacked them and said, you're being anti-Semitic, or this is too complicated, but now, because people are sharing more, they feel confident to say, no, we're not going to just accept that, and we're not going to just go along with that. So I see seeing social media do what you're saying is in America making people a lot more understanding of what they need to do to continue to fight for Palestine.
Yeah, you're right. And one of the funny things I heard was Nikki Haley saying that if you spend like a few minutes on TikTok, it makes you 30% more anti-Semitic or something. Like, what kind of statement was that?
She
So,
doesn't even go by her real name. Nimarata needs to shut up. There's that.
so yes, that's number two, social media. Someone asked, what is this sound? I'm located in Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis in Gaza right now. So what you're hearing is spy drones buzzing all above us. Israel are escalating their land invasion attempts in Khan Yunis. So there's a lot of spy drones above us. I don't know what exactly they're scouting, but that's the sound that you're hearing. I apologize. They can mute the sound, but they actually increase it, especially at night, just to irritate people and not allow them to sleep, in addition to the agony they're going through. So it's psychological warfare. So number one, education. Number two, social media. Number three, boycott. Boycott Zionist corporations. Boycott corporations that donate until now to the Zionist state for some reason. Look at what happened to Starbucks. Prime example, in front of your eyes. You heard the news 2 or 3 days ago. They've lost over $12 billion overnight. So I used to love Starbucks, but
I
I didn't
know.
know that they had Zionist ties, right?
I had no
But
idea.
unfortunately, economics and politics work together. And
In tandem.
once the CEOs of these big companies feel that they're not gonna get their bonus paychecks, they're not gonna, they're gonna suffer, and they're the ones that are financing the different politicians, financing the elections that are upcoming, etc. Once they feel that their pockets are hurt, they will put pressure on the politicians to change their stance. So boycott, number three. Number four, donate, but wisely. Wisely, Unfortunately, if you're donating things that are, material, like clothes or food, etc., it's not reaching, The borders are not open. Thousands of trucks are out there. And every truck gets searched by the Israelis, many of it being emptied to only 2 or 3 pallets. Many trucks that are coming in have expired food. Many trucks that are coming here have things that are semi-destroyed or things that we cannot use or we don't need, like gloves or masks or linen to wrap our dead in. It's more of a UN, US, Israel PR stunt saying, oh, we're opening the borders. No,
Right.
aid is not coming in. And whatever is coming has to be channeled through the Red Cross and the UN. And unfortunately, they are monopolizing all the supplies and they're selling it into the black market. And that's how people are getting access to these supplies. So think again before donating to the UN-sponsored charities. Think again before you donate to any charity that is appearing to you on your social feed. How do you donate? Talk to Palestinians that you trust. Talk to Palestinians that have people here on the ground. They will guide you on the best way to ensure that the aid reaches us here as soon as possible. I'll give you one small example. We have one in Nairobi, in Kenya, reached out to us, and it's one of the poorest cities in the world. They've donated a huge sum in the five figure, and alhamdulillah, it's reached here. And for the last 5 days, out of that amount, we were able to feed 10 different refugee schools, housing 50,000 people, fresh rice, beef, and vegetables for 5 days because of the donations that have reached us here. So donate wisely.
Do you know the name
Number
of that
four,
organization?
um, I have an Instagram video in my profile. I have all the details posted there.
Okay.
If you want, you have to do
Will you
like a
send it to
bank
me
wire,
after?
a bank. Yeah, sure. You have to do a
Okay.
bank wire transfer from a local charity or your local bank account. Um, sure, I'll do that. I'll send you that in a message after this. But again, it doesn't need to be through Mansour. Like, I'm just a means, one
No, it
way.
can be
Talk,
through.
talk. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It can be through, but like I said, you have to put the effort to try to find the right way, not just any charity that says that we are helping. You know what I mean? But again,
How do
I'll guide you
people, Mansour, how do people, what are some criteria that people can use to determine if it is a effective charity versus one that is defective?
unfortunately, unless you're here on the ground, you won't know. Unfortunately, so you need. That's why I'm saying you need to talk to Palestinians on the ground here, or Palestinians outside that have families here on the ground that knows who are the organizations that are working
Okay.
in the right way to ensure that the aid reaches the people. So yes,
I know who to ask.
perfect, excellent. Next, demonstrating on the ground, guys. You have no idea how much of a morale boost it is for the Palestinian people here on the ground. By the way, we all have everyone here has a mobile phone, and whenever they have internet connections, the first thing they see are the demonstrations and protests in New York, in Sydney, in Milan, in London, in Paris, in Calgary, my hometown. Like, you are giving us strength, you are giving us power. You know, it's an opportunity also for people from different races, from different walks of life, to all unite on the same cause, you know, the values of humanity, and real humanity, real values, not what's being portrayed by the UN and the US government. You know, practice your freedom of speech, ensure that your voices are heard. Governments and people in power do listen and will be pressured by that. I'll give you an example. Who could have believed that Fox News would have allowed me to appear live on their channels 4 times in the last 2 weeks? This only happened because they saw the lies of the Israeli-backed media, right, on the ground, and that even the people that watch Fox News stop believing Fox News. They want to listen to the truth. And by seeing pressure by people like you on the ground, they will be forced to change the narrative. The narrative, even the official TV media stations, has changed thanks to you. Um, Before last, lobby your politicians. Now, every country, every city, every province, every state has a different way or system. Make sure you lobby your politicians. Elections are coming in the US. Make sure that they know that, you know, um, you know what, you're not getting my vote. Unfortunately, Amanda, maybe you can let me know, but what are your options? I mean, the problem is, I don't know what options the people in the US have, but lobby your current politicians. Make them know that what they are doing, they're in the wrong side of history. They are
So
not going to get your vote.
in America, what we have seen a lot of is, um, people who are very involved in voting, right? Like they have connections to their politicians already. But there's a lot of folks who may not have really felt like they needed to be involved or they needed to address their politicians directly. And you all, this is the time. Like this is when you come to understand that they are they still need votes to get the job. Like that's still the American way of life. And so there's an app called the Five Calls app This app is very helpful because you're able to put in your zip code, and it will then show you who your House of Representatives person, who your congressperson is in the House of Representatives, and who the senator is. It will then connect you to them via phone as well as email. You're able to choose what topic you want to address. So for instance, they will have in there calls for ceasefire. They've had in there, particular bills that you want to address. So it makes it very easy for all of you to be able to go directly to who you need to get to and to be able to harangue them, really. I mean, because it's the consistency of making your voice heard, and they need to know, like Mansour is saying, they need to know that you are somebody that they are losing. That's what they need to know. If they don't feel like they're losing you, then they don't feel like they need to bother with your requests and your needs. So the 5 calls app, it's 5 calls, and you can get that in the App Store.
Thank you, Amanda. So yeah, that's so yes, lobbying the politicians, and you know what? Number 6, I'm honestly, I see light at the end of the tunnel, right? I truly believe that we're winning this. I think that we've already won it from a moral perspective. We've won it by winning the hearts of the people from around the world. We've won it from a media, social media, and government-based media. Um, we've won it even on the ground by even after 63 days in areas that have been wiped to the floor. Still, battles are ongoing, and the IDF hasn't been able to control even 5% of Gaza, which is like a suburb of one of the bigger cities in New York or in Chicago. Which city do you live in, Amanda?
I live in Los Angeles,
Los Angeles. How many
but I
square
used to live in New
kilometers?
York.
How many square kilometers is New York or Los Angeles?
That I don't
Around.
know. But I
Okay.
know that Gaza is the size of like Manhattan. So if you live in, New York,
Yeah,
not even Brooklyn and the Bronx, no, just Manhattan.
just Manhattan. So after 63 days and over 50,000 tons of bombs against people that don't have we don't have anti-air weapons. We don't have like 99% of people here are civilians. They don't know anything. They don't know what's going on. And despite destroying 70% of the infrastructure, despite displacing 80% of the people, right? People here are not broken. People here are staying strong, staying resilient. They believe that they're on the right side of history. They believe
Yeah.
that they are paving the light of freedom, not only for Gaza and Palestine, but for the whole world. We believe that we have won because the people have been forced all over the world to take the red pill. We have been living in the matrix. We have all taken the red pill and we've woken up to the reality that, wow, where are these human rights? Where is the democracy? Where is women and children? Where is all of that? So, and now we believe that soon ceasefire will happen. Soon the borders will open. Soon Palestinians will get their rights back. So my final request is to make the intention of joining us here in Gaza soon. We want to see you.
Oh, I'll be there.
Honestly, we want to see you. We want to see you. We want to take you into our homes. We want to feed you until you're full. If you're not married, we'll also get that arranged. I'm talking in general.
Do we have to convert?
We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it over a cup of coffee, a cup of tea. We'll talk about it. So, so, and by the way, Muslims, Christians, Jews have been living side by side peacefully in Jerusalem and the Holy Land and Palestine for 1400 years, right? I'm from Jerusalem, and there were no issues with Jews or Christians, ever, ever. That's why it's important to understand what is Zionism. Why did this all happen? Why is this all happening now? And by the way, Jews historically, whenever they were being uh, not treated well, I'll put it that
Yes,
way, in Europe, especially in the medieval times, where did they seek sanctuary? They seek sanctuary in the Muslim lands.
I
And that's
agree.
why they thrived in Muslim areas. So the fact that it's a Islamic Judaism battle is not true. That's why it's important to learn more about Zionism. Back to you, and I'm going to mute myself because I know that the spy drones are deafening.
No, I think I speak for most of us here that we are simply just honored to be able to be a part of, doing the right thing. We are in a country I speak for Americans, we're in a country where we often feel like there is so much happening without our will, that we are basically kind of just being pulled along into these atrocities that are so against our values and so against our hearts. And so to be able to even communicate with you directly and be able to just, let you know that we don't stand for this, and that we stand against this. I don't know how valuable that is, but you've said it's valuable. So I'm glad that we are all like understanding that and staying strong, and staying consistent in that, because that's really for a lot of us the only kind of thing we can do. But Mansour, we are with you. And for many of us, this is the first time we have ever experienced anything like this. I know. Oh, hello. 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 Where'd my cats go? Oh, they all went outside. Hello. Oh. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I feel like I'm Palestinian already. Mansour, my stepmother is Palestinian. My brothers and sisters are Palestinian. So that my father is American, so they're Afro-Palestinian. So, there's a connection. And for a lot of people, they may not have, a bloodline, but we do feel connected because we have a truth line. We have an indigenous line. We have a line that connects all of us to end colonialism and to silence the lies that have allowed for so many lives to be taken. So, I just want you to know that over here we're trying. We really are. And we have fallen in love with you all. When you texted me today, I just fell to the ground crying. So I want you to know that you all exist to us in a very real way.
Thank you, Amanda. I'm humbled to be with you here and to speak to your audience. And
So I will share.
one
Oh,
of
go
the
ahead.
things, yeah, one of the things I like to share is that beside me here is the maternity ward in Nasser Hospital. So every few minutes, um, we hear the struggle of a woman that's in labor. And however, in like after that struggle, what is the result? The result is a beautiful baby that comes to life, right? And I believe that we are in labor right now as a nation, as a civilization. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, sometimes for great things to happen, for beautiful things to come to life, we
Mm-hmm.
sometimes have to go through that struggle,
Every
you know?
time.
So, yes. So, uh, and yes, we do see that baby at the end of the tunnel. We can feel it. We can sense it. We can hear it. We can see the head. We can see the hair. It's coming out. So, and with your support, with everyone's support here, continuing doing what you're doing, uh, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and thank you so much. Honestly, everything you are doing. Don't don't belittle whatever you are doing. Don't belittle it.
Okay.
Continue to support the cause. Don't stop.
Please, someone said that Bisan is in the same vicinity as you, so please let her know that we love Bisan, and we will continue to use our voices and to support in whatever way we can. I'm going to share these seven points, and I'm going to reiterate them for you all right now. Mansour said these are how you can help Gaza. One, actions based on facts, not just emotions. Learn what is Zionism. Learn about the Nakba and more about how this all came to be and how it's continued to be since before October 7th. Learn about Islam, which will give you some frame of reference and context to understand how Palestinian people can still be in such dire straits and say Alhamdulillah and continue to fight. Where is that coming from? Two, create content, share content, like content, continue the flow of content. Three, boycott, get in the pockets of these companies. These companies will then get in the ear of politicians who will be forced to change their modus operandi. It's just simply, unfortunately, the way it works in capitalism. Four, donate wisely. Do not simply just donate to American Run or Red Cross, etc. No, connect with people who are in Gaza and can tell you the organizations that are getting funding to the people. Five, demonstrate, protest, protest, protest. As Mansour said, folks in Palestine, in Gaza, and in Jerusalem, the West Bank, they all have their phones. And when they get service, they open their phones. They see us out here. They see us moving. They see us raising our voices. It brings a bit of light to what is going on in the midst of the madness. Number six, lobby your politicians. Wherever you are in the world, whatever system is in place, learn it, use it, make your voice heard, continue to harangue these people that you put into office, right? I mean, these people are elected officials. Their job is to represent the people. So we need to continue to demand that they do so. And last but not least, Mansour, we are honored in you saying that we should not belittle anything that we're doing because everything has value. And you are valuable, Mansour, and all of Palestine, and we are happy to support.
Also that make the intention of joining us here in Gaza, in Jerusalem. Yes. And yes, I am serious about the part of feeding you until you're full. We're going to make sure you're fat. And you're going to love it here. I'm telling you, the Mediterranean weather, the food, the culture, the warmth of the people. Inshallah, I think soon a ceasefire will happen. Soon the borders will open. And we're looking for people from all around the world to extend their support here and to join the big family of freedom here. And inshallah, soon. So that's also very important. And we're looking forward to having you all. You summarized it in an amazing way, Amanda. Any final questions or thoughts you would like me to tackle?
I think the question that I get from a lot of people is, they're constantly asking me, well, how do Palestinians feel about Hamas? And I'm like, I don't care, but, is there an answer? How do you? No, that's not what I'm asking you. What I'm asking you is, I think people have this idea that Hamas is a governing, entity in Palestine in the way that we look at our own government. And no matter how many times I say that's not the case, they're like, yeah, but you're not there. You don't know. And so as I'm speaking to someone who is there, can you please give people some insights? Because I feel like they won't believe it unless it's coming from the place.
Sure. Yes, of course. So you're right. There are no elections here. There is no party systems. Yes, Hamas basically used to rule Gaza, trying to rule Gaza. However, something that you don't know that was before October the 7th, there were lots of protests across all of Gaza Strip against, a lot of the policies that Hamas was implementing in terms of the way of governance, in terms of the lack of jobs, there was a lot of issues. Let's put it that way internally. So the idea that the people are Hamas and Hamas are the people, I don't think it's true. And trust me, 99.9% of the population here were shocked at what happened on October the 7th. Even the Israelis, with their $1.5 billion security infrastructure, their spies, everything, everyone was in shock and awe of what happened in October the 7th. So I think they're to blame. I mean, what have they been doing for the last 16 years, putting us in siege and in oppression and ruling the skies and not allowing us to go have a port or an airport or controlling all our borders and allowing us only a ration of electricity that comes 8 hours a day. Um, so yeah, I mean,
It's
uh,
it's it's it's
but
the fact
the
that
fact the question that I want to ask is, after 63 days, has anyone on social media, on TV, ever seen a single person from Gaza uh, complaining that, for example, Hamas is using them as a human shield?
no
Complain that Hamas is
hiding in their house.
like yeah, exactly, like
No.
has anyone, and people can do that, like right now it's war, like, so
Yes.
uh, so yeah, I mean, I think like you said, education is very important. Understanding, reading into the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, its history, how Fatah came, how the PLO came, how Hamas came, will help enlighten the people in general about, okay, this is what's happening, this is why things are happening this way, for example. It's going to help answer a lot of questions. Back to you.
Yes. No, thank you. I mean, I think a lot of people don't understand that dynamics are created for certain outcomes. So when you see people, saying Hamas this, Hamas that, but then you don't acknowledge that there's an apartheid regime in place, you are literally limiting the people from within to be able to make choices about who is even running things. So that is by design, and then you blame those same people. We've seen this before historically, y'all. Like, you know, Mansour, when I first really started learning about the history, so many people really did believe this idea that it was complicated. This was like what we're drilled into our heads, like, oh, you won't understand, it's too complicated. And so you think that you're being respectful by not treading into those waters. And I want to encourage everybody to tread deep. Okay? It's not that difficult to understand. And if you even on a basic level understand colonialism, it's a 1 day read. I mean, you may not understand, like, you may not know like the dates of different, intifadas, you may not know the dates of pogroms, etc., but you understand the reality of how this has come to be and how it continues. So I want to encourage everybody to do that. We are connected. I want to ask you this, Mansour. Is it really the internet that, I mean, like, that has, what makes this, why do you feel like this time you have more hope than maybe the in last, in like last wartime, that there will be a ceasefire, or that there will be freedom? Is there anything differently that you feel like is happening within?
Yes, I again, I'll take you back into Israeli internal politics here. So, if you read history, if you look into history, you will find that civilizations, when they start declining, it's not the powers around it that cause its decline. The decline happens
Internal.
within the society itself.
Hmm.
So once that society loses its moral grounds, once that society loses the values that they were founded based upon, um, once once the politicians start to publicly fight amongst each other, once uh, once the importance of individuals, like Netanyahu is like he's fighting for his own
Yeah.
fate. For example, right? He's facing a lot of court orders. He knows that if he doesn't continue the war in Gaza, he's gonna end up in jail, for example, right? Um, Also, once the Israeli people know the reality of the casualties on the ground, once they know how many hostages have been killed through the Hannibal Doctrine by their own IDF, once they learn about how on October the 7th their own people were shelled by Israeli tanks and killed in the nature ceremony by Apache helicopters, once they learn about the reality of how many Israeli soldiers, their sons, their daughters have been killed in Gaza over the last 63 days, right? It's not 80, trust me. It's not 80. When you have documented over 300 military vehicles destroyed, and each vehicle has between 4 and 12 soldiers in it, the math doesn't work to 80. So once they realize their actual loss and
Right.
that the military objectives of one, releasing all the hostages, has failed through
Yes.
force, and number two, dismantling Hamas has also failed because there is no evidence that Hamas has been dismantled. Look at what they did in Al-Shifa. Since day one, command and control center for Hamas, command and control center. We need to take control of Al-Shifa. Once we control Al-Shifa, we will expose to the whole world that they're using, patients as shields. We're going to explore the tunnels. They even, had 3D image and videos of the different operations that are being done from there. What happened? You know,
Nothing.
Look at what happened. Nothing. Lies, failures.
Lies.
They, from a media perspective, they ruined themselves. And they brought down the US government and the US intelligence down with them. I am so surprised that the US government is sinking to such a low. Like, what are they doing? What are they doing? I can't find an answer to that.
I
Back
hate
to
to
you.
break it to you, but the US government is the bottom. They are the lowest of the low. That's the unfortunate reality. The US government does not has never not I mean has never operated with any level of morality, so it was created similar to Israel. It was created in the existence of having to remove, and disrupt lives. It was built on land that was stolen. So it's always been operating from this point of view, and it seems as though it has joined with Israel so it can bolster, this continued effort. And that is what I think so many of us are waking up to, just the depth of that, and how we as American citizens are complicit in that. How our money, how our votes, how our businesses are supporting that, and we did not even know, because it was under the lying. So I hope what you're saying is true, and that history does prove to once again uh unfold in this fashion, where because simultaneously, I believe it's like these things, it's a perfect storm. It's the people, it's the truth, and it's the disrupting from the inside. And and it's like a vibration shift happens. It's like people are able to, shift something inside of people who maybe didn't even know they had it in them. And that's what it's also going to take. um People within these positions really saying, I can't be a part of this. And we've started to see that. So I hope that we can continue. Not I hope, we will continue to demand that. We will continue to demand that, um and enforce what we can.
Thank you, Amanda. Um,
So
uh, uh, yeah, I'm listening. Tell me.
how is the weather?
It's in the single digit degrees Celsius here. Living in Canada for 10 years, I've gotten used to the cold. Living in minus 30, minus 35. Um but the regular Palestinian here, for them, this is cold. Fortunately, I'm also staying in a tent. That's helping me keep warm. But yeah, the weather is in the single digit degrees Celsius. And it rained earlier as well. And yeah,
Okay. Well, Mansour, we will continue, and we can do this again. And
did you hear that?
I did hear that.
Yeah.
You don't even flinch, and that breaks my heart.
No, no, it's
I saw a video the other day where
subhanallah,
the
human.
reporter was like, And you were behind him like, oh yeah, that's another that's an everyday.
Human beings, God made human beings as an amazing creatures. We are blessed. God has blessed us, and one of the blessings is that the ability to adapt.
Yes.
Uh, and sometimes, a question was about Mansour. What about the children? Aren't they
Yes.
depressed? Aren't they going like? What about the children? My answer to them is that I always try to look at the positive. Strong nations, strong civilizations gets what makes civilizations strong are when the youth of that civilization goes through certain hardships. You know, they grow with a strong back. When my kids were in Canada, and for example, not to say that bullying is not bad. Bullying is very bad and it's very hurtful. But let's say they were bullied by someone in school, they might not go to school for a week because of depression. This same child now has come to Gaza and gone through weeks of war. Do you think that child will not be stronger in terms of stamina, mental strength, the ability to in the future be a leader that can make the right decisions, you know, make the right calls, right? So these circumstances that the children of Gaza are going through, yes, it has its negatives. However, if we look at the positives, this is enabling them, inshallah, to be leaders of tomorrow. So hopefully they will build nations here in Palestine, and they will help the free people of this world build their own nations as well. So that's how I look at it here. That God has a plan for everyone, including the children here.
Well, inshallah, I will. Inshallah, I will. I'm also learning Arabic, so I'll have. I'll be able to say "Sabkhale Habibi." So I hope that I will get the opportunity to shake your hand and hug you and help
Inshallah.
you in rebuilding Gaza
Soon, soon,
soon.
soon. Looking forward. Let's stay in touch.
We
Thank you,
will.
everyone, for having me, and thank you for being patient over the past hour. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. Thank you, Amanda.
Wa alaikum salam.